So can you tell me sort of what you hope to achieve with Black Pride? I know that we've achieved a lot. I think Black Pride for me has been instrumental in my understanding and pride to just be sort of BME, LGBT, and someone that's very much been in London all my life. Mm-hmm. So I know it's done that for me, but can you maybe give us what you think it's done for like the mainstream BME community as a whole, and what you hope it keeps doing in the future?
Wow, girl, you're not messing about with these questions, are you? So let's just put something into context first. UK Black Pride is not owned or run by me. Mm-hmm. It's owned and run by the community. We are a not-for-profit organisation, and I think the reason why UK Black Pride is so successful is because you just told your small story in a very small nutshell about what it's done for you. So I hope that over the next 5 years that continues, and the next generation that come along can say, oh yeah, Remy said that this is what it done for her. It was instrumental in her navigation of whether it's your coming out journey, whether it's your journey about being a black young woman. I hope that UK Black Pride can continue to do that, foster great links right across the piece. You know, over the next 5 years, or over the next year, I would say right now, we're going to be launching a really big campaign about say no to rainbow racism. That's going to be absolutely huge, but it's only going to be huge if the community get behind it. So the elements of racism, sexism, misogyny, all forms of discrimination and prejudice are things that are going to be part of what UK Black Pride wants to champion, eliminate, eradicate. I think that inclusivity and having people's voices amplified right across the piece is what's needed. I don't think we've done enough to look at the trans BME black community. And we don't always get it right. So we need people who are black, BME, BAME, trans to come and tell us how they want to be reflective or seen or heard in UK Black Pride. So that's going to be another element of how we learn and how we grow. But for me, I think that I just want to see more people get involved. I want to see, you know, groups and magazines and organisations like A.Z Mag calling on UK Black Pride to give them information or to put something out. And I'm sure that A.Z Mag and UK Black Pride will be doing some great work over the next year, 5 years, 10 years and so forth.
Okay, great. So in terms of you saying that you're a trustee for Stonewall?
Yes.
Could you explain sort of what your role is in Stonewall?
Okay, so Stonewall is a charity organisation which champions rights for LGB and now T, which they've recently just ensured that the activities and campaigning around transgender is very much relevant in its structure. So as a trustee, I'm there to ensure that good governance is there around all of what they do. So their financial aspects, we're there to be informed and advised on what they want to campaign on and whether we think it makes good business and ethical sense to do so. As a trustee for Stonewall, it's been interesting for me to see their structure and their setup and how they operate. And they are, and I'm not just saying it because I'm a trustee, but they are a very, very professional organisation and outfit which is headed up by a woman called Ruth Hunt. And the chair of the trustees is called Jan Godin. So they do some amazing work, and the rest of the trustee family are also from very different backgrounds. So corporate Phyll, one's from governance, another one is the sort of director of the National Union of Students. And then you've got another person whose area and arena is about insurance. So you know, there are people there who come with some real great specialism. And I'm there. Was I picked or pointed for being a black woman? Because people say, oh, Stonewall just needed to make itself look very diverse. I am not entirely sure that that's correct. I like to think that my years of education and schooling and who I am as a person was why I was appointed. But the added value is that I come with a wealth of knowledge about our community and can bring that to the table in making sure Black voices, BME voices are heard through all of their campaigning and all of their seeing to their good governance.
Or how do you feel that Stonewall represents BME communities?
Okay. So as a Stonewall trustee, that's a question that I probably have to not be mindful of how I respond to that, but I'm truthful in my response. Over the last 2 years, Stonewall has come, or probably 3 years, they've come a really long way ensuring that intersectionality plays a big part of their campaigning. I think in the past, Stonewall has been seen as very white, male, corporate. They have the pink pound, and it's been all about galas and events and things that are not accessible to people like you and I, who may come from a background where, you know, we're working class. I say that, I'm making an assumption, but it's, you know, it's not necessarily been accessible. So if people like you and I cannot reach what they're setting out to do, then it's not reflective or representative of us. I like to think that I've added something to that and talked about accessibility and poverty and the youth, the BME youth, so that it can be reflected in their campaigns. But they're now starting to do some amazing work. You know, they've got an event with Regard, which is a disability group. We've put on challenging racism in the LGBT community with Stonewall and UK Black Pride, Diva, and also UK Blackout London. So with all of that, it's starting points, and we just have to keep the momentum going.
I think I've seen a change in terms of Stonewall, and I personally think that like there's places to go, but I think the fact that they're taking the initiative where some organisations are still maybe turning a blind eye is amazing.
Absolutely. And I'm going to feed that back to them, because it's stuff like that that they need to hear. You know, clearly I'm going to take all the credit for it because it's a sister saying it. I'm going to say, if you don't have me, you're not going to hear this sort of good feedback.
Okay, so I wanted to know, do you have someone that manages your PR? Because I wake up and I go on Facebook and you're there. It's like good morning, like almost every morning. So I just wondered whether, like, because you're so social, do you have someone that manages it for you?
Well, it's good to know that I'm in the bed with you, Remy. You know, you're attractive and everything, but you're a bit too young, you know. No, I don't.
Okay,
I don't. And if you're offering, you know, and for the purposes of this interview, if anyone's offering, yeah. So no, my PR is, God, me, the higher being, the spiritual energy that surrounds me, and my iPhone. So
it works.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like, I need to be like Lady Phyll. I need to be more online, more social. Because I'm 23, but so I feel like I'm meant to be so aligned with social media, and I feel like sometimes I'm like, no, I don't really understand what's happening. So you put me to shame.
My desire to be on social media is not that I wanted to be there, it's because I needed to keep up with my daughter. Yeah, I don't know how to use Snapchat, but I know that she's on Facebook and she's on Twitter, so I followed and I saw some of the things that she was putting out there. And I think if you're going to campaign, you have to look at how you can reach different audiences. And I actually have 2 Facebook profiles, one for work and one for... Oh, really? I'm feeling stalked now, Remy. Come on, what's happening here?
Okay. I wanted to talk about something that I saw when I was on your Facebook. You said a week ago, I think, that you had big news and people should guess, and loads of people were saying really like different outlandish things. I want to know which one of the things. Number 1, what made you like think, okay, let's do this? And number 2, what was like the funniest thing that somebody said?
Okay, so I'll start with the funniest thing that somebody said was, are you pregnant? Oh my gosh, you know, daughter's 21.
Wow.
And I'm not that spring chicken, and you're certainly not going back after 21 years to have a child.
Too much of a gap.
Not too much of a gap. I just don't want children.
Imagine.
I like pets. And children look better in picture frames. You know, when they're just smiling and not saying too much, and they cost less in picture frames.
Definitely.
So yeah, that made me smile the most.
Okay.
In terms of the news, okay, so I might as well tell you my news. Last year, I put out, and it was around April Fool's. I'm a bit of a prankster because I'm, you know, can be into myself a bit. So I put out some news and I said in 2020 I'm going to be running for London Mayor.
I saw that one too.
Yeah, and that was an April Fool's joke.
Really? Oh, I didn't get that part.
Yeah, I updated it. You know, everyone was saying to me, "Oh, brilliant!" I had people inboxing me saying, "Oh, I'm going to be your, you know, your campaign manager. I can do this."
Wow.
And it was a joke because I don't want to be London Mayor. So this year, I put a statement out about I've got some really big news, and because I'd just come back from speaking at the United Nations, I think a lot of people thought I'd gone for a job interview and got it. So there's no United Nations job. No, I'm not pregnant. No, I'm not going to be the sort of director of Amnesty International or Liberty. It's none of what people put. It was just another April Fool's joke.
I was really excited. I was on holiday and I was like, oh my god, it's my girlfriend. What is it? And I was like, yeah, she's really cool in the UN. I was so excited. But okay.
Yeah, it was. Every year I've got to do an April Fool's joke.
I'll try and remember next year.
Yeah, but this time was slightly different because I did it the night before.
Yeah. So I was like, April Fool's is tomorrow. No, she's being serious. I'm so excited. But okay.
So you might know for next time, but you might not know.
I think I might
because there's always sometimes things going on. There's always loads going on in my life.
Exactly, so you never know.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want.
Are you disappointed now?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want some news?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exclusive news.
Some exclusive news. I'm going to do my nails and my hair after this interview.
You take me with you.
Only you guys know.
Okay.
Okay, no. In seriousness, some exclusive news. UK Black Pride has agreed to work very closely with A.Z Mag and support your organisation and promote it and help it grow and assist you in what you know and love and do. So that's exclusive, hot off the press.
You heard it first, guys.
Yeah, over the camera.
Great.
You heard it first. UK Black Pride and A.Z Mag.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much. That means like everything to us because me personally, you inspire me a lot in terms of being just representing our community like day in, day out. We need more of you, I think. So thank you for helping us.
Wow, thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you what you hope to achieve in the next 5 years, Black Pride wise and also job wise. I don't know whether you're happy with where you are, and even if you are, do you feel like there's other things you can achieve in government? 5 years.
Wow, so in the next 5 years, where I work, I mean, I absolutely love my job. I've studied and worked hard to become the political campaigns and equality head. I think that there's going to be some big changes for the trade union movement, especially now when you look at the sort of makeup of government. So yes, you've got Jeremy Corbyn as the Labour leader, you've got the SNP who are talking about austerity and fighting austerity, you know, you've got the Greens who are very clear on, you know, fracking's not good, but you've also got the Tories, the Conservatives, who are talking about, you know, breaking down how trade unions operate in what's called a trade union bill, which at the moment is currently going through its passage of rights in the House of Lords and House of Commons. So there's going to be some significant changes for trade unions and what we do, and I think over the next 5 years and within the general election, I think the need is to want to grow unions. So if A.Z Mag, if UK Black Pride, if LGB Underground UK Blackout London can do anything to ensure that black people, BME people, BAME people are registered to vote, and if they are working, that they're part of a trade union, because being part of a trade union is about that protection and rights over your employer. I say to people all the time, if you bought a car, you buy car insurance with it, because it's about the protection. If you start employment, you need some sort of protection over not being discriminated at work or unfairly dismissed. So it's important that I think our youth today are shown and are told about what trade unions have done. You know, brought you the weekends, you know, brought you maternity leave, paternity leave, trying to eradicate 0 hours contracts and so forth. So yeah, that I want to see that change in terms of growth of BME people in the trade union movement. You know, there are very few senior black trade unionists or even people that work in the trade union that are black. So I want to see a difference there.
So register to vote and join the trade union.
Absolutely.
Okay. And in terms of Black Pride, any mission for the next 5 years?
Education, education, education. You know, my dad is always very clear about, you can have all the materialistic things in the world, but your education can never be taken away from you. But your car, your clothes, you know, your new hairdo, even your nails can break. All of those things can go. But the moment you have education behind you, and we fight for a sustained free education system, we can become quite powerful within itself. So for UK Black Pride, it's how do we provide spaces to ensure that we have workshops that educate, but importantly, how do we deal with self-care and mental health well-being in our community? Because we don't do enough about that self-care, but we're always fighting and wanting to make change. But there's something that comes with burnout over that, fatigue and tiredness. And I'm sure you know, as running AZ Mag, there's times where you just want to cry or say, beep, beep, I'm leaving it, I want to go to sleep. Well, that is about the self-care. How do you make sure you work closely with many others, so when you can't walk, that you're carried and, you know, supported? So self-care is going to be a big element of UK Black Pride's mission, but education more fundamentally.
Okay, great. I want to ask you, okay, I'm thinking which one we should do first. Can you give us some advice for people that maybe want to follow your career path or that want to get involved with Black Pride? How do you get involved with Black Pride firstly?
Oh, okay. So getting involved with Black Pride is simple. Email info@ukblackpride.org.uk and, you know, let us know what you want to do. Hopefully over the next couple of weeks we'll be putting out our wish list. Okay. You know, so whether it's asking for writers, whether it's asking for volunteers on the day, whether it's asking for people who are great at social media, it's important to try and look at how we grow the army of people. You know, you look at organisations who are successful, they've got a whole army behind them. So that's exactly what we want to do. But people can get involved. As I mentioned, UK Black Pride is not owned or run by me, it's owned and run by the community. We're all volunteers. Nobody's paid to do it.
Okay. And if somebody wanted to sort of be head of policy and campaigns where you are, what would they have to do? Like, how did you get in terms of maybe education? Because I know we've spoken about your career path, but what did you do at uni, for example, if you went?
I think following someone's career path, it's a tricky one, because everyone has an idea of what they want to do. And I wouldn't want someone to say they want to follow my career path, but maybe do things which are similar. So Equality is what I've been about. So I did my employment rights trade union at Ruskin, Ruskin University, and that was all about trade union labour relations. And within that trade union labour relations led me on to, you know, being quite political. But I said that, you know, I wake up every day and my whole being as a woman, as being black, as someone with a hidden disability, being, you know, LGBT is political. So me is fed into my job, and I think that that's my qualification. I think that if anyone wants to get into the world of equality, human rights, just look at what is right for the world. There is Amnesty International, who writes some great things and some great articles, you know, the Human Rights Watch. Getting involved in a trade union, joining a trade union. They are about self-organised groups, and that has also enabled me to understand a bit better how trade unions operate and what gains have been made from trade unions. Getting political now, on the other hand of, you know, my day job, political campaigns, knowing who your own MP is a start. And being registered, as we mentioned earlier, to vote. If you don't know who your own MP is, what are you lobbying your MP on? What are you trying to raise that may be of concern to you and your community or communities? I think that there are just small little fundamental things that you have to do first, but there's Plymouth University does a great political campaigns course. I believe it's a 2-year over part-time, so that's worth people looking at. There's some campaigning boot camps that do great things, like the actual organisation Campaign Boot Camp. They have lots of sponsorships for whether you're refugee, whether you're from BAME background, whether you're a green campaigner, so people can get involved. And I think everyone's got it in them to be a campaigner, whether you're pressing that button to send an action off, a petition, signing a petition, or whether you're out on a demonstration, you know, holding up the flag or taking a march down to Trafalgar Square or past Downing Street to clearly campaign about or complain or be dissatisfied with the way austerity is going right now and the rolling programme that the government are putting out.
So just sort of raise your voice.
Absolutely. Keep on amplifying that voice. But again, I'm also happy to give direct advice if somebody wants that on, you know, what do they do next, and this is what qualification they have.
Great. Well, guys, if you want to get in touch with Lady Phyll, you can. And
through A.Z Mag, though.
Okay. So if you want to get in touch with Lady Phyll, contact us.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what is your coming out story?
Wow. Oh my gosh. So I was in a relationship. I mentioned I have a daughter, and that relationship broke down for a number of reasons, and I came out. To cut a long story short, it was volatile, it was wrong, it was hurtful, it was painful, and I ended up being in a safe house and trying to navigate my way through life as being a woman with a young child and raising this young child through what was to be some quite challenging times. Family, my mum, you know, there's not a word in Ghana for lesbian and gay. Really? There's nothing to translate to what does lesbian and gay mean. So clearly it was difficult for my mum as a staunch churchgoer, you know, Methodist, Pentecostal. For her, you know, being gay, lesbian, it's an absolute crime. So that was difficult because our relationship then broke down. I felt very much estranged from friends, family, and felt like I was starting all over again, even though the mask was unveiled and I felt like I was starting to be my sort of true authentic self, whatever that meant at the time. It also felt quite heavy and weighty. And I think this is why I put a lot of my efforts into Black Pride, the trade union movement, into Stonewall, into Justice for Gay Africans, into all of these organisations, because I wish that when I was coming out, there was the A.Z Mag to tell my story. I wish that there was the Black Pride to tell my story. I wish that there was the Stonewall, which was accessible to tell my story. So, you know, coming out has been a bittersweet pill, and every time somebody asks me that question, it means I have to come out again. And you'll probably find this on your own journey, that people want to know, oh, you know, did you come out? When did you come out? It's you coming out again and again and having to tell that story. So we can never tire of telling the story, because we've got to. You don't know what it does for the next person. But at the same time, just know that there are people around to support when you do tell the story, because it still can bring up some painful memories. And just lastly, in our community and communities, BME and BAME people don't always want to come out.
Definitely.
So it's not about the coming out journey, it's about helping, supporting, assisting people navigate their way through challenging times, or navigate their way through their own identity, but still being quite comfortable, not wanting to wave the rainbow flag and say, look at me, I'm here and I'm queer and I'm happy to be. You know, they can still do that in the privacy of their own.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, I just wanted to ask.
Not semi-lastly, lastly.
Absolutely lastly.
Okay.
Because I know that, like, I just wanted to ask, I know that, like, you're Ghanaian. What do you think, if you had to choose, would you choose jollof rice or rice and peas?
Sister. Come on, it's got to be jollof rice all the time.
But I mean, Nigerian jollof rice or Ghanaian? Because you know Nigerian is that
Okay, so, you know, that was meant to be lastly, but I'm going to have this last point. It's got to be proper Ghanaian jollof rice. Nigerian jollof rice. You don't use the palm oil the way you need to. Just saying, hashtag.
Wow.
Okay, Remy, don't worry, we're still sisters.
Wrap it.